Hello everybody and welcome back to JoEnglish. As you can see, I've got Pammy here with me today.
Hello everyone.
And that means one thing. It means we're going to have another natural conversation in English, which is so important to help you improve your listening skills, okay? If you want, put the subtitles on. It's not a problem. And in the comments, I'm going to put some questions in there and I want you to answer them. So, today, what are we going to talk about?
We're talking about holidays.
We are, but not normal holidays. Now, as you can see, the title of this video is Off the Beaten Track. Now, off the beaten track means places which are not touristy.
Yeah. And often not very easy to reach.
Exactly. So, I mean, we're going to talk about three main places, okay? So one in England, one in Wales, one in Scotland. We've been to them all. They are fantastic places, but they're off the beaten track for foreign tourists.
Yes, definitely. Yes, British tourists, obviously, they are holiday places for British tourists. But they, as I said, they are difficult to reach. So you wouldn't just hop off a plane and get there.
Yeah, and I think that's important because some people like going to London or Cambridge, Oxford because of all of the transport links. To get to these places, you need to be a bit more adventurous.
And have a car.
You need a car, exactly.
And you need to remember we drive the other side of the road in the UK.
Which a lot of people are put off by, aren't they?
Yeah,
which,
definitely.
Which is understandable.
It is. It is.
When I first moved to Italy, I wouldn't drive on the right-hand side of the road.
Terrible. Terrible.
I like it now. I like it now. So, we're going to be talking about three things, okay? Three places. Now, the first one I'd like to talk about is in Cornwall, okay? Now, my mum was born in Cornwall, and it's called the Lizard, or Lizard Point. Now, this is the most southerly point of Britain. Now, lots of people think it's Land's End. It's not. Land's End is the most westerly point of England. Not Great Britain. There's a place in Scotland that's even more westerly. So we went there the other day, didn't we?
We did. It was a lovely trip. We went a few weeks ago, actually, with your mum and dad. And it was a lovely few days. I'd personally never been to Cornwall. And it was very exciting to explore a different part of Britain.
It was good for my mum as well, because my mum was born in a town called Helston, which is very close to the Lizard. And she hadn't been back for many, many years. And she met her half-sister for the first time in a long, long time. And I've been to Cornwall quite a few times, but never to the Lizard, and it was
very special. There were little things that you don't think about, like for example, we stayed in a very small hotel right on the coast. And just opposite, we could see from our bedroom window a lighthouse. And when we checked in, they said, oh, it's a bit foggy tonight. Really sorry, the foghorn will disturb you. And I didn't have a clue what a foghorn was, really. I'd never experienced.
But for me, the amazing thing is we're in 2023 with all the satellite navigation these ships have. I thought, come on, surely you don't need a horn to be going off during the night with the light. But it did, didn't it?
It did. And Roland, Joe's dad, actually counted. It went on every 24 seconds. There was a very, very loud
My father couldn't sleep, unfortunately. But that's another thing. It was also nice to go with my mum and dad, obviously, because, my dad hasn't been in the best of health. So we managed to go and drive everybody down. So it was really good. It was really good. And but I would really recommend trying to get to somewhere like the Lizard, because it's such a traditional little town. And even around the Lizard, there are beautiful little villages which normally you would never see, with great little pubs, art galleries, shops, and also obviously the coastline.
Oh, it was amazing. It really was incredible. James and I walked for a while on the actual coast, and it was just fantastic. The scenery,
we were lucky with the weather, weren't we?
We
It was
were very
foggy
lucky.
at night, but during the day it was hot, it was bright, it was beautiful. So that's our first hidden gem off the beaten track.
Yep,
Go to the lizard. Okay, so let's move on to our second off the beaten track destination. Now, this is a place that's quite close to our hearts in the sense that we have lived there in the past. Not for very long, only for about...
It was our first house.
It was our first, it was the first time we lived together.
Time we rented together.
Yeah, long time ago. And we were only there for about
6 months.
6 months or so, wasn't it? So we're going further north now into mid-Wales, the county of Ceredigion, to a seaside town called Aberystwyth.
It's also known as a university town, really. In fact, Aberystwyth's main focus is the university.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it survives on students and the money they bring in, doesn't it? Because otherwise, the beach there is beautiful, but there's not an awful lot else.
And again, it's quite difficult to reach. So, you know, you wouldn't just pass it for the day.
No, and that's the thing with all of these places. To go there, you have to want to go there. They're not on the way to any other place. You need to actually be there, you know, go there specifically. And so, like I said, Aberystwyth, to be honest, the town is a beautiful town, but it's not really on the tourist agenda, especially for foreign tourists. But the town is beautiful, picturesque. The beach is amazing.
Yeah.
The countryside around it is incredible. The wildlife is fantastic. But it's nice to see a thriving seaside town. You know, it's one of those places which still has a community, lots of things going on, lots of independent shops, and I think it's really worth a visit, isn't it?
Oh, it definitely is. And it's got a history. For example, King Charles, he actually went to Aberystwyth to learn Welsh before he was known as Prince of Wales. And apparently one of the prime ministers wanted him encouraged him to learn Welsh, just to reinforce the relationship between Wales and England. Now I'm talking, Charles must have been 20, I think. He must have been really young.
He wasn't the Prince of Wales then?
Yes, he was. Maybe not. I don't know.
Let us know. I think he was the Prince of Wales then, but anyway, it's irrelevant. Yeah, it's not important. The thing is, though, he went there, really to get the link between England and Wales stronger. So, and they've got the National Museum of is it National Welsh?
No, they've got the National Library, British Library, which is a smaller version of the library in Oxford, which has every single book published.
It has a copy, doesn't it?
It has a copy.
Every single book published, okay.
But it's a very Welshy town. You know, Welsh is spoken, it's mainly spoken, I think.
And because in Wales, from mid-Wales to North Wales, you hear a lot of the Welsh language, which is fantastic. Obviously, they speak English too, but it's...
local people would speak Welsh to each other, and a lot, obviously, signs and everything in Wales is written both in English and in Welsh. But you certainly feel more of a Welsh presence in Aberystwyth.
They're still very welcoming. You know, some people...
What are you talking about?
No, some people think, some foreign people think there's this big divide between England and Wales and England and Scotland and England. It's not really like that at all. I mean, going there, being English, there's no problems at all. Welcomed, and it really is a beautiful place. So again, if you get the chance, if you feel adventurous, go over to Aberystwyth and have a look. Right, let's move on. Now, for our third place off the beaten track, we need to go way up north to the Highlands of Scotland and to a place called Drumnadrochit, which, to be honest, I don't think I could spell that now.
No.
No. But anyway, it's on the side of Loch Ness. Now, we'd always wanted to go to Loch Ness and Scotland and the Highlands. So when did we go? Just
It
before
was
COVID.
New Year's Eve 2019.
Yes, and we went with our friends, Italian friends actually, and we went up there, and it's just a magical place.
It's surreal, absolutely surreal.
Yeah.
It's just a very, very small village north of Inverness.
No, south of Inverness. It's south of Inverness. Yeah.
You just felt like you were in a film. It was. We stayed in a very small little pub which had about 4 or 5 rooms.
Yeah.
And
the locals were so
welcoming.
friendly. Honestly, I could not believe it. Do you remember when we were there for New Year's Eve and the locals were buying us shots of whiskey? Now, I'm not a whiskey drinker. Pammy's not a whiskey drinker. But when they're buying you this whiskey to welcome you, you can't say.
And it was actually quite nice whiskey.
It was, yeah, it was. But the kids loved it. I mean, just to be on, so close to Loch Ness is just amazing. But also, it's a really good place to explore the Highlands. And the Highlands of Scotland are out of this world.
Yeah.
The beauty is amazing. We went to the Isle of Skye.
Yeah.
You need to have some patience because the roads are very windy.
And it takes a long time to get anywhere, really, And the weather is not always very... I mean, we went Christmas time, which...
But I must say...
was almost guaranteed rain.
Yeah, but I must say, when you go to somewhere like Scotland...
You don't mind.
You don't mind. Expect it, but also...
And the whiskey helps.
But it's also part of the beauty of it. When we were driving on the Isle of Skye and it was raining and the mist was coming down...
And it's a chance to see various different types of rain. Because... we saw vertical rain, we saw horizontal rain, we saw all sorts of rain, and it was just shocking to see how different it is.
But I don't think that changed the experience at all. So I really, I would...
We had a lovely boat tour of Loch Ness as well. Yeah. And again, the weather wasn't perfect, but it was still... surreal and magical and a very, very special experience.
Yeah. So if you get the chance, it's easy. You can fly into Inverness and you can rent a car. But I cannot recommend going to the Highlands of Scotland and Drumnadrochit because it's amazing. And like I said, when we were there, all these places we saw tourists, of course, but British tourists. We didn't see many foreign tourists. So if you really want a real experience, a different holiday, go and check it out. Have a look. And, I would quite happily go back to all of these places.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So there we are. I hope you've found this interesting. Let us know in the comments how much you've understood and try and answer the questions we're going to leave in the comments. Okay? See you soon.
Bye.